Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is time for your morning reset. My name is Tameeka Nelson. I am your spirit, soul, and business strategist, and I am ecstatic to be with you this morning for our 15-minute reset. Okay, so I'm not even going to waste any time this morning because I have so much to say, and I want us to jump right into it so that we don't miss any part of what we need to know this morning in any part of our reset this morning. We want to be intentional about our time. So this morning, I didn't really know what to title this, so I just titled it Head First, okay? And then I'll explain what that means shortly. But our focus this week is on our soul, on our mind, on our intellect, on our emotions. We are focused on our soul this week, and the topic is head first, or you can name it whatever you want to name it when this is over, right? But there is excuse me, there is a tug of war every single day in our minds. There is a fight happening every day in our minds for our thoughts, right? And so the moment we get focused, our attention is pulled in another direction by distractions, or just literally like the cares of life. Sometimes it's not bad. It's just literally what it is, the cares of life, right? And so many of us find ourselves under immense mental and emotional strain and pressure, to the degree that we don't always make the best decisions. We're making hasty decisions that have long-term effects because we are under so much financial too, but mental anguish and mental strain. And so this morning, I want to talk about the silent war that nobody sees, the war that goes on in your mind. And Craig Groeschel says, your mind is a battlefield, and the battle for your life is either won or lost in your mind. The battle is either lost or won in your mind. The battle begins and ends in your mind. So I wanted to talk with you about that this morning, and I'm actually going to be using the 4 principles from his book, Winning the War in Your Mind, so that we can talk about coming out head first, right? So he has 4 principles in his book called the Winning the War in Your Mind. And those 4 principles are the replacement principle, the rewire principle, I missed one. The reframe your oops, I missed one here. Let me grab it because I put what it means, but I didn't put the name of it. Also the rejoice principle. I want to make sure that we talk about that this morning. And I will I will get back to the 3rd principle once I get to that point, but I want to run through and talk about these things this morning. The replacement principle, excuse me, is removing the lies and replacing it with the truth. The replacement principle, removing the lies and replacing it with the truth. And that means that we have to take inventory of our thoughts. There are literally thousands, excuse me, I'm so sorry, my voice is doing its own thing this morning. Excuse me. There are literally thousands of thoughts that go through your mind every single day, right? And so it is up to you to stop those thoughts and take inventory. Remember a few weeks back, I showed you the chart about how a situation creates thoughts and how thoughts create feelings. And basically, we can stay out of our feelings. We can learn to stay out of our feelings if we just learn to capture those thoughts, right? If we learn to bring every thought captive to the obedience of Christ, we will gain the war on our minds. We will win the war on our minds. And not just capture it, but replace it with the truth, right? Not just capture it, but replace it with the truth. And so I'm thinking, for instance, when you have a thought of fear that comes in your mind, well, you already know that didn't come from God. That thought didn't come from God. So what are you replacing it with, right? You already know that God hasn't given you a spirit of fear. So what are you replacing it with? Power, love, and a sound mind, right? But in order to replace that truth, you have to know the truth first, right? And it is that truth that makes you free in your mind. Knowing that truth is what will make you free in your mind. But you have to know the truth first. You have to know the truth about yourself. You have to know the truth about God. You have to know the truth about his word. Like, you have to know the truth for yourself. And it is that truth that will make you free. Okay? We like to quote a lot of scriptures a lot of times and don't really take into account what they mean, or we apply them to just what we want to apply them to. But that truth will set your mind free. It will set your mind free. So give me one second. The next principle is the rewire principle. The rewire principle. Rewiring your brain and renewing your mind. Rewiring your brain and renewing your mind. Did you know that you have the power to rewire your brain and retrain your thoughts? That is within your power. That is not something that God is going to do for you. That is not something that God does. It is something that he has given you the power to do. We always like to quote the scripture that he has given us the power to get wealth, right? Well, what about mental wealth? Yeah, he's giving you the power to have that too. Soul wealth. He's giving you that power to have soul wealth, right? In neuroscience, there are literal ways that you can rewire your brain. I'm currently reading with a book club right now, Clearing Your Mental Mess by Caroline Leaf. And she shows you on a scientific level, but also on a spiritual level, how to rewire your brain and how to rewire your thoughts. God made you a free agent, right? He made you a free agent. And so he gave you that power over your mind. He gave you that power over your thoughts. But it is up to you to change the way your neurons behave. You have a choice in that. You can be intentional about changing the way your neurons and the way you think and behave, right? Your brain is conditioned to adapt itself to repeated behaviors. So a person's negative thoughts or unwanted behaviors, if they're repeated enough, they will shape the brain to continue those thoughts and behaviors. So whatever thoughts you have consistently, whatever behaviors you have consistently, you are training your brain, whether good or whether bad, whether positive or whether negative, to have for that train of thoughts to continue, right? And so just like you can repeat behaviors, you can also stop behaviors. You can start new behaviors that start literally new neural pathways in your brain. You have the power to rewire and retrain your thoughts. Your brain is already thinking every day and rewiring based on your current thoughts, based on your current behaviors, based on your current feelings that you think and repeat over and over again. So now it's time for you to be intentional about what the rewire looks like for you. It's time to be intentional about the thoughts that you think, the behaviors that you have, the repeated behaviors and the repeated thoughts that you have. Pay attention to what you think, how you think, when you think, and make a conscious effort to change it. Cookie. And now you're thinking right now, why did she say cookie? Where did that come from? I completely interrupted your thought. And that's exactly how you do it. That's exactly how you do it. I interrupted your thought about what I was saying, and I said cookie, and that made you think about completely something else. Like, what? Threw you for a loop, right? That's all you have to do when it comes to rewiring and retraining your brain. Just choose to think a different thought. Choose to think a different thought. I'm not crazy later than that, I promise. I was like, cookie, what? Yes, that is how you do it. You literally interrupt your thoughts with a new one. You have that power. But what we do is we just let our thoughts go and go and go, and we just don't take any initiative to interrupt them or to think a new thought. And you have that power to think a new thought. You do have that power. And so I want you to pay attention to what you think, how you think, when you think, and make a conscious effort to change the way that you think, right? And so two of the simplest ways to start doing that is journaling, getting your thoughts out of your head, right? And then you can replace, even in your journaling, you can replace those thoughts with new ones. And also gratitude. Like if you wake up in the morning, what are your first thoughts? Your first thoughts should be those of gratitude. If you're already in, oh God, I got to do this, I got to do that, it's already at the end of your day, before you even start your day, that brings on a negative connotation to your day. Like all that worry, starting the day with that kind of worry and anxiety and, whatever the emotion is that you have around the day, that is not the way that you start your day. Start your day in gratitude, and that starts to rewire your brain, right? Starts the day in gratitude. I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful to be alive. Grateful for another opportunity to be with my family. Grateful for a roof over my head. Grateful for gainful employment. Grateful for whatever you want to be grateful for this morning. But just that little change will rewire your brain. So making sure that the moment that I wake up, I'm not waking up with the complaint. I'm not waking up with the woe is me. I'm waking up in gratitude, right? So the next principle is the reframe principle. That's the one I was missing. I wrote reframe, but didn't put that as a principle. The reframe principle: reframe your mind and restore your perspective. Reframe your mind and restore your perspective. And this is what I want to help you understand this morning. I want you to reconsider the way that you think about your past, the way that you think about your present, and the way that you think about your future. And I want to more so talk about the past and the present than I do the future, because if we get the past and the present right, we'll get the future together, right? But if we reframe the way that we thought or think about the past and the things that have happened to us, and things like that, whether it be your upbringing, whether it be a divorce, whether it be a job, I want you to reframe how you think about it, right? I want you to reframe what your childhood looked like. I want you to reframe what your teenage years look like. I want you to reframe that, right? I want you to reframe in your present day, you walking into your job. Sometimes we are, again, at the end of our day, we've already decided, I hate going into this job. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I can't stand these people. And we walk into a job every day like that. What is that saying to your brain? What is that saying to your mind, right? And I want you, and we go in with these preconceived notions. Yes, we know how they act. Yes, how we know what they do. But I want you to reframe your thought around that into a gratitude statement, right? I want you to turn that into a gratitude statement. I am grateful that I've gained gainful employment and I'm able to make an impact on those that I encounter every day. What's the difference in between going to work with, oh God, I can't stand them, or I don't feel like being here today, with I am grateful that I have gainful employment and I'm able to make an impact on the lives of everybody I encounter today? That's a complete mind shift, right? It's a complete mind shift. And so I know we've all heard it said that when you change the way you see things, the things you see change. So I'm not saying that the people at your job are going to stop doing what they do or being how they are, but I'm saying that you can change your perspective, right? So when you change the way you see things, the things that you see change. When you change what you focus on, right? The things that you focus on will change, and the things that you when you change what you magnify, the things that you magnify will change. And so I really want you to pay attention to making that shift in your mind. Sometimes you have to trick your mind and say it until you see it. You have to trick your mind and just continue to say it until you see it. Say positive things until you begin to see it, until you begin to feel it. The thoughts that you have and the things that the affirmations that you make have a literal effect on your body, right? On your body, not just your mind, but on your body. And so you really want to be sure that you are not thinking toxic thoughts. You don't exhibit toxic behaviors and things of that nature. Reframe the story in your mind. Reframe the story in your mind. And one way to do that is to start thanking God for what didn't happen, right? We know what happened, but I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff that could have happened. And so today, God, we thank you for what didn't happen. Today, we are grateful for the doors that did close, the doors that didn't open for us. We are grateful for every opportunity that we didn't get, right? We're grateful because there's so many things that could have happened that didn't. And so just reframing the way that we think about that. Find that I want you to gain a new perspective. Find a new perspective from which to think. Find a new perspective from a place of gratitude. That's what I want to say. A new perspective from the place of gratitude. The last principle is the rejoice principle. Revive your soul and reclaim your life. Revive your soul and reclaim your life. Revive your soul to reclaim your life, right? Reviving your soul. What does that look like for you? What does reviving your soul look like for you? It's going to look different for each of us. It's going to look different for everybody because we all have different things that makes our soul come alive, right? So what makes your soul come alive? What gives you life? What gives you life? What will revive your soul? What makes your soul come alive? I want you to think about that question. What makes your soul come alive? What makes your soul come alive? For some people, it's helping people. For some people, it's water. For some people, it's just it can be so many different things. For other people, it's music. Like there's so many different things, but I want you to think about what makes your soul come alive. What makes your soul come alive? Find that thing or those things that bring you joy and do more of it intentionally. Do more of it, right? In doing so, you reclaim your mind, you reclaim your peace, and you reclaim your life. Be intentional about reclaiming your joy in your life. Be intentional about reviving your soul. Make it a part of your daily practice. How can I revive my soul today? Right? And so I want you to understand that the freedom that our souls are longing for starts in our minds, right? Anything that you are looking to do, anything that you are looking to accomplish, any goal that you have is going to start here. You have to win the war in your mind first. You have to win the war head first, right? And so what God is doing and what he will do in our lives requires that we come out head first. He wants to free our minds first, and he wants us to win the war in our minds. I hate that so many Christians are defeated in their minds, as if we have no control over it. And how do I know that we're defeated in our minds? From the decisions that we make, from the behaviors, from the conversations that we have. We are defeated in our minds. Many are defeated in their minds. And so I really want you to take a good inventory this morning of your thoughts. Be intentional even today. From this moment forward, be intentional. Pay attention to the thoughts that you think today. Pay attention to your thought patterns, right? Pay attention. Pay attention. If you get a chance, Pastor Mike Todd preached on Sunday, patterns that prophesy. Y'all, listen to that. Listen to that. Listen to that. While you're working today, throw that on YouTube. Patterns that prophesy. We have to break those patterns, the mental patterns, the thought patterns. Like, we have to break those behavioral patterns. We have to break those in order to go to a next place. But it all starts head first. So that's my reset for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you got something out of what I said today, and I hope that you have a fabulous day. Thank you so much for joining me, and may you prosper this week in your spirit, in your soul, and in your business. Have an amazing day. I love you all.